But the two extremes right now, they're confusing men, and quite frankly, they're leaving women with few choices. And that's the real tragedy here.
You see, I completely agree with you, but Andrew, you were shaking your head quite vigorously. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just more feminine or feminist nonsense ultimately. And the covert feminism in society is big, especially on the conservative side. So here's what happens, right? Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues. Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues.
Women need to have feminine virtues for men to be pursuing masculine virtues.
The answer is no, 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 no.
Use my language, but the red pill ultimately turns you into a as a man. I hate to say it, once again, excuse the language, but it is what it is. The red pill ultimately turns you into a as a man. Why do I say that? Well, first of all, let's go through the typical trajectory of the red pill. You start off and you're saying, you know what? There's an issue with a certain segment of women, right? There's a certain segment of women who are quote-unquote modern women or 304s or non-traditional. They're combative. They don't want to submit. They don't, you start saying there's a segment of women like that. As time goes on, what happens? Then you start to say, well, it's 50-50. More time goes by. Now you're starting to say, you know what? It's the majority of modern women. It's the culture. It's American culture. And you got to go to other countries. You got to go over here. You got to go over there. So you start off saying there's some women this way. Then you progress or regress, and you're saying it's 50-50. Then you keep going even further, and now it's the majority of the women. Right? So, and then you go from there, and what happens next? Now, you have to find a reason, or you have to find fault in basically all women that you come across, because you have to justify your lot in life. So all of a sudden now all the women are chameleons. All these women are covert feminists. They're feminist adjacent.
More feminine or feminist nonsense ultimately. And the covert feminism in society is big, especially on the conservative side.
They're feminists that don't know they're feminists, right? Because it's got to be something wrong with all the women. So once again, let's go through the timeline. First is some women, then it's half the women, then it's the majority, then next thing you know, everybody's a feminist. Everybody's a chameleon. All the women are fake. If you keep going, eventually all the good women are already married. That's how that goes. And then it progresses further. And then next thing you know, all the problems in the world, all the problems in society, all the problems in North America, all the problems in America, all the problems in your city, your state, it all boils down to women, right? Women are the blame for everything wrong in society. If the women would just do this, then this would happen. If the women, come on, you've heard some of the stuff. Boys are failing because of the mothers, right? Not because of the fathers, even though as a man, you should be turning your son into a man. And obviously that's not happening because of the condition of the boys. But no, it's not the man's fault that these boys are failing and lost. It's the woman's fault. Because eventually everything is blamed on the woman. Society and culture is the way that it is, not because of it, because of the women, right? Women are to blame for everything. And this is the ultimate drawing the line, because this is a grown man. He's not 18, he's not 22, he's not 25, he's not even 30. I would say he's at least 35 and older. He might be pushing 40, if not over 40. So this is a fully grown adult male. And you know what he said out of his own mouth with a straight face? First of all, he called a conservative married woman a covert feminist. Why? Because once again, if you keep following down this logic and you keep rolling down this red pill path, eventually all the women are feminists. because you don't have one, you don't have no woman that can submit to you, so eventually you just got to call all the women feminists. So that was the first part, right? Then the next part. And he said this out of his mouth with a straight face. He was dead serious. He said, you can't find masculine men because you can't find feminine women. You can't find men walking in their purpose because you can't find women walking in their purpose. Bro, that's a crazy statement to make. That he made once again with a straight face. He said with a straight face, you can't expect men to be men because women aren't being women. He's saying that you can't expect men to be who they're supposed to be because of women. He was dead serious with a straight face. Why? Because once again, this red pill stuff leads you to be becoming a coward, a soft male. That's what it leads to. Because once again, you start blaming the woman for everything. Your son ain't the man he's supposed to be, not because you didn't raise him to be one, but because of his mama. Men are not masculine like they used to be, not because of the failure of men, but it's because of women. Everything is because of women. Everything. And all women are chameleons or covert feminists. Because here's the last point. If you really pay attention to red pill guys, if you ever come across a red pill guy in a conversation with a woman who has handled her own business and got herself together and is successful in some kind of way and is confident and is intelligent and has convictions and beliefs and morals and principles, and she stands on it, 10 times out of 10, when she gets into a conversation with a red pill man who all he can do is blame women for everything that's wrong with the world, all he can do is put the blame on somebody else. 10 times out of 10, when that man and that woman get into a conversation, he's going to call her a feminist. Because if you are a red pill, weak, unaccomplished, full of excuses male, when you meet a woman who is smart, intelligent, accomplished, has convictions and beliefs, you're going to call her a feminist because you have to. You have to accuse her of being masculine, of non-submissive, she's a chameleon, she's a closet feminist, she doesn't respect men, she's mad. You have to throw those labels on her. Because standing next to her, you look weak. You look soft. It's embarrassing. And so how do you counteract that? Oh, she's a feminist. That's how that goes. Because that's all that happened here. This was a woman who, when he was talking, she didn't interrupt, she didn't say nothing. But when she started to talk, oh, she's a feminist. Because it gets to a point where if a woman has standards, she's a feminist. If she knows what she believes in and she has her standards for right and wrong, and she stands on it, a feminist. Eventually, all quality women become feminists because you don't qualify for any of them. That's why I say, man, the red pill leads to you being it does. Excuse the language, but it does. Because ultimately what happens is all the women are just the worst thing in the world. All of them are chameleons. All of them are covert feminists. Everything that's wrong with the world is because of the woman. Anytime you point out what men should be doing or what men need to fix, the reason why men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing is because of women. Women are responsible for everything. Men are responsible for nothing. You become... He said this out of his own mouth. You can't expect a man to be a man if a woman not a woman. So in order for a man to be who he is supposed to be, he's the woman. Come on, man. Come on. Like, and if you really listen to a lot of these guys talk, that's how they talk. Put them in the conversation with a woman and watch how, as the conversation goes forward, she has to agree with everything he says, even if it's ridiculous. She has to take blame for everything wrong with the world. And if she has any thoughts of her own, or if she has the nerve to have a standard for men, then guess what? She's a chameleon. She's a feminist. Every single time.